Hi, my name is Shardall. Welcome to the SG Sportstalk channel. I would like to welcome Randon McMahon to the post game to the show.
Hey, Charlotte, can you hear me, man?
Yeah, I could hear you nice and clear.
How's it going?
It's going great.
Thank you for having me
So I
on,
had a
man.
question. Which Giants players are you really excited to see come back next year?
Well, I mean, I'm not necessarily a Giants fan, as you know, I'm more of an A's fan, but I think it'd be nice. They have a pretty good prospect pool, and I think Joey Bart, that storyline going on with taking over for Buster Posey and the legacy that he had is going to be something that's going to be interesting in Giants lore. What about you?
I really miss Buster Posey that he's gone from the team. I really miss him because he was a great catcher. He's definitely gonna be missed. But I hope he could have stayed back for a couple more years. But it's sad to see him leave.
Is there any player that you're excited to see then?
I like Evan Longoria. I feel sad that he announced his retirement. So he's currently retired from the team. So he's no longer gonna be on the team next year. Um, do you know what you've seen in Evan Longoria?
Well, I mean, I think his prime, he was, for the Rays and was a solid third baseman, had a very high defensive acumen as well as a good bat. And so, the hot corner is one of the hardest positions in baseball. And so I think that he's going to be known for those types of things and for the fact that he led, Tampa to multiple, winning seasons with, them having a depleted salary cap, similar to like the A's, is a testament to him and how well that he is a leader on that team. And so, I'd have to look at his numbers more in depth, but for him to be a potential Hall of Famer, but he's definitely had a well-established career. Maybe too many injuries to put up some monster stats, but definitely a well-rounded player in Evan Longoria.
As an A's fan, how do you feel that Sergio Romo is now a free agent? Um, and teams are looking to sign him. Do you think the A's are going to re-sign him, or the Giants are gonna come and pick him up?
No, I think Sergio Romo is a little bit past his prime. He's in his late 30s. Probably would just go to an opportunity where he has a chance to win. I guess both the A's and Giants do have a chance to win, but I'm not really a fan of nostalgia signings just because, to bring a player back that was in his prime in your building. I think the Giants have done a good job at moving forward, and the A's are trying to do so as well. And so I'm not sure that they'll bring him back. If they can't get any of the other signings, maybe that they would like in the bullpen, and he's a late roster signing, then I could see that. But he was up and down last year, and he's nothing special anymore. There's a lot of young arms that can do the job that he did. He had a good career as a reliever with that devastating slider, but I don't see him, maybe as a bargain signing for the A's, but I don't really see them as an opportunity for the Giants. They had a good bullpen last year without him, and so to bring him in, it just seems kind of just a nostalgia shining, which I don't think the Giants are going to end up doing. What do you think?
I think it's kind of good to bring back players that used to play for your team because I like that nostalgic feeling. I'm kind of a different kind of person in that regard. I like to bring back the players I like that nostalgic feeling because you've been watching that player for so long and you want to see him come back and show what he has to prove for the team. So it's I'm kind of different in that regard. I'm kind of different. I like to bring back the old players. Um, that nostalgic feeling.
Well, Sergio only played, I think, 1 year for our team, right, or two for the A's. So, I mean, it's not really much of a nostalgia feeling for us. Yeah, I played 1 year. He's going to be 39 at the start of the season. ERA over 4.5, which is his worst year ever as a pro. And so I just don't think he has much left in him. And for a championship level team as the Giants played at last year, I just don't think he's the type of player that they're looking for.
So for the 49ers, do you think that it's Jimmy's just last season in San Francisco and it's ready for Trey Lance to make a start next year in 2022?
Yeah, and it needs to be. You spent 3 first round picks to move up and get him. Thank you, Jimmy, for all that you've done. But it's trade time here, and He's a good enough quarterback in the NFL. Surgery shouldn't keep him out too long in the offseason to get his thumb in order for whatever training camp he needs to be a part of. And so I think that they'll find an opportune suitor, whether it be New Orleans or Pittsburgh or some team like that, where they need a starting quarterback because Roethlisberger's retiring. Saints might make the playoffs with 3 different quarterbacks this year, and so they have a good team around them. And I think that Lance was started last week, and as a Bay Baller area baller is asking, I think Trey should and will start on Sunday. He's been taking all the questions at the podium all week, and usually for Shanahan that means you're starting on Sunday.
But for me, for Trey Lance, the problem for me is that he's young. He's a rookie, 21 years of age. If he gets injured, there's no other quarterback to replace him. So that's why he's the most dangerous one right now. He's so young. He needs some time, to improve his game before we can be a official starter for this team back next year.
What makes him different than any other starter? I mean, the drop off from Lance to Sudfeld is not as much as Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love, and they're not getting a $28 million backup to Aaron Rodgers. So I think you invested that much capital in him, you play him. You don't worry about your backup, because if you play for injuries, then you're allocating resources incorrectly. So they're going to get a different backup next year, probably a type that is going to be paid somewhere around the $5 million mark, and he's going to be something similar to Trey Lance in the aspect that Shanahan won't have to put in too many different offenses for them to play, and go from there.
But the thing that people are concerned about Trey Lance is, like I said, he's young. He just played probably I don't know how long Trey Lance has played right now.
He's had 2 starts and played an extra quarter or 2 quarters.
But if they decide to start him on Sunday against the Rams, do you think he's gonna have a perfect game? Do you think he's gonna score, throw a lot of get a lot of yards, in that game?
I mean, a perfect game is something that it's tough for any quarterback to do. I like the fact that he was the best quarterback in the last 3 years for pushing the ball down the field for the Niners. That's going to allow him to continue to do that. Our offense is really geared towards beating up the Rams in general, just because of our wide zone run scheme and the way that they play their defensive front. So that's why we've been successful. Obviously Jimmy hasn't turned the ball over against the Rams, and so it's just going to be something along those same lines. We need to run the football. We can't turn the ball over, but that's against any opponent that's good. And so you saw Trey progress as the game went on. Trey's going to need to win these big games going forward for the Niners to be successful. And so I'm tired of everybody saying he's young, and stop babying the kid. Like, throw him out there and let him work. There's other quarterbacks who have played in their first year and made the playoffs that played the whole year. Trey Lance is the only quarterback in the last 2 decades, or not the only one. There's 4 of them, including him, that have played less than 4 games in their first season, drafted inside the top 5 as a quarterback. So they just need to play him. He's progressed enough, and you saw it on the field as he progressed the game, and he's continually getting better every snap. Shardall? Everybody's saying Nate time in the chat while Shardall's coming back. I don't know about that. I know you guys are just joking around and everything like that, but he seemed like a weird backup signing. I wonder who they will get next year. That Huntley seems like a good quarterback to take behind Lamar Jackson. So I wonder what kind of quarterback they'll get for Trey Lance to back him up next season, and what they'll get for Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't know how I'm supposed to continue this if he's not here. Nate has a better arm than who? Zach who? Huntley? Sorry, I don't have access to put your comment up there, Rowena. The journeyman Tyrod Taylor who couldn't even beat out Zach Wilson. Well, then maybe he can go back up Zach Wilson. I just think I don't know, Tyrod Taylor maybe, Geno Smith maybe. Yeah, I can see that. I could see those. We'll see how that ends up working out. Everybody wants Cam Newton, but I think Cam Newton maybe isn't the best backup. Maybe just from his mentality, I think he still thinks he can be a starter in this league, and so I don't see that working out for maybe Cam Newton. Yeah, we'll see how the Jets do next year. They have 2 top 10 picks, coming in next year, and so we'll see how that works out for them. Because that can turn a team around instantly. 2 top 10 picks that hit. Probably they're going to get their Becton, right? Their left tackle back, and so the Jets might be sneakingly better than what people think. The starting Jimmy G on Sunday, if healthy, he's not healthy. So what percentage healthy are you talking about? Because he has a torn muscle and ligament or whatever in his hand. He needs surgery. He's already admitted he needs surgery. So he will never be healthy with for the rest of the season, including the playoffs. So what percentage are you talking about?
Yeah, my computer died.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've just been rambling for the last about Trey Lance. So if you want to continue with that, we can go from there.
So I really think Trey Lance has potential on this 49ers team. I think I'm really excited for the kid. I mean, the kid's one of the best. We got him in the 3rd pick in the NFL draft. So I think I really have talent. I mean, I really believe in this kid. This kid's really going to be, has some potential one day to be one of the greatest quarterbacks.
Yeah, I just don't think the too young thing is the thing that you go about. You had Russell Wilson, Ben Roethlisberger all win or go to the playoffs their first season. You have multiple quarterbacks who have won on their rookie deal and progressed, pretty aggressively. You look at the difference between Patrick Mahomes' first season, just playing one game, to throwing 50 touchdowns the next season is a pretty drastic change. And so I just think that you let Trey Lance cook,
Because, I mean, you do you believe that this kid does have a lot of potential to show it to all these 49er fans who have been wanting to see this guy for so long, and then he just comes out and just throws that past the Trent Sherfield? I don't know which game that was.
Well, that was in the preseason. Yeah, that was in the preseason. Yeah, I think
impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it was impressive. It was nice to see because. Yeah, it was impressive. It was nice to see because that's you want to throw the ball downfield and everything like that. But you're looking at that needs to be consistent going in from time to time. What's up, guys in the chat? And I think that's what fans want to see out of Lance is the consistent throwing the ball downfield, which they did last game, right? He had in passes that the air yards were over 10 air yards. He had 205 total yards, which was most in the last 3 years. And he had the highest average yards per attempt over the last 3 years. So it's definitely something that fans have looked forward to. I think where he can take his game to the next level is the running game. I think the running game has been pretty sparse for Trey Lance, not only in the design from Shanahan, but the execution. You're not seeing him. I think the fact that maybe he was such a better athlete than everybody around him in college, and now he is no longer that. He needs to pick his points on when he can get those 10-yard rushes and then slide and get up and go. But I'm definitely liking what I'm seeing from the downfield attack. What about you? Charlotte, can you hear me?
My question is that do you think that Trey Lance
Charlotte, can you hear me? Because you're not
in North Dakota State, or did he have? Yeah, I could hear you. Could you hear
me?
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
So my question was that do you think Trey Lance had a better career up in North Dakota State, or did he have a better career in the Bay?
Well, no, I mean, his career in the Bay
Or
has
do you
only
think
been
he was more
two and a half
successful?
games. So it's only been 2.5 games. He won a national championship at North Dakota State. So I'm gonna have to say North Dakota State. I mean, his career has just started here, and but I do think he's a better quarterback that he now versus when he was at North Dakota State. So um, that's something that I think all the fans continue is him progressing in that fact.
So some people are making hypothetical remarks that Jimmy G is gonna get better with that finger injury, and he's gonna come back and play against the Rams. Do you think that's a hypothetical situation? It's not gonna happen. People are getting overhyped that Jimmy G is gonna come back and play the last game against the LA Rams. Do you think that's kind of overhyped? Like they're kind of overhyping it to think that Jimmy G is gonna come back.
I think the fact that they're prepping Jimmy Garoppolo to be a backup because the game's on the line. If something were to happen to Trey Lance in the middle of the game, they don't really have any confidence in Sudfeld to lead them to anything. And so, a 60% Jimmy is better than a Sudfeld. But like I said before, Lance has taken all the first team reps. He's the one at the podium. He should be the one playing on Sunday, in my opinion.
So uh, are you excited for him for Lance on Sunday? I mean, are we always excited for him? I mean, he started coming to the team, so he hasn't got much experience. So do you think he needs a little bit more experience behind Jimmy before he can get that experience going and get that mojo going and then feel comfortable about himself and then they could put him into the game and make him the starting quarterback?
I don't think the progression is not a path that's the same for everybody. So not everybody needs to sit. Not everybody should start all right away. But if you look at the quarterbacks drafted in his position in the last 2 decades, the only two to ever win an MVP started all 16 games their first season, which was Matt Ryan and Cam Newton. So you're looking at they were the only people to win an MVP. But then you have the other spectrum where Philip Rivers sat his whole first year, granted behind a Hall of Famer and Drew Brees, and he had a very effective career for himself in San Diego and in Indianapolis. So there's not a progression path that's right for every single player, and you have to have some sort of faith that the organization knows what they're doing. But I think there was a little bit more behind it. Obviously, the fact that Jimmy gets paid the amount of money that he does, for him to be a backup all year would have been something that they would have had to answer to too. And I think that Shanahan, even though he just signed an extension, his job might have been on the line to him. And so you take the sure thing that what you're going to get out of Jimmy Garoppolo, and he played sufficient for most of the season. So I just think that now that you've went to Trey Lance and Jimmy is clearly not healthy, I mean, he has a torn muscle in his hand, you have to go with Lance.
So do you think so are you saying that they're keeping Jimmy G as the backup in case Trey Lance gets injured? But are you not looking at injury at this point? You're just looking at watching the kid play. You're not focusing on he gets injured or not. That's not really something you're focusing on. You're just focusing on watching the kid play and just seeing how well he can play. Are you not really focusing on injury at this point?
No, you got to win the game. You can't be upset if Trey Lance goes out there and takes a bad hit and he gets injured. Knocking on wood that he doesn't. You don't plan for those things. You go out there to win the game. We have to make the playoffs. So you're not sitting other players because they might get injured. So why would you do that to Trey Lance?
And and the thing is that uh do you just if they don't make the playoffs this year, do you think they have a chance of shooting it next year, in case they don't win to because they have to beat the Rams, and the Falcons have to beat the Saints in order for the Niners to get into the playoffs. But if those situations end up being false, they're not going to get in. So they have to beat. I
If
mean,
we
even if they
win,
lose
if
to the
we win,
Rams,
we're in.
no, I'm
If we
saying
win,
that, but we have
the
to beat.
Saints has nothing to do with the Saints. If we win, if we lose, then the Saints matter.
Yeah, but if we win against the Rams, the Saints versus Falcons situation doesn't come into picture
Yes,
because that's only if we lose. But if we win, we're in, right?
yes.
So uh, so on Sunday against the Rams, what are some? keys to victory that 49ers need to focus on in order for them to get a win on that Sunday night on that Sunday game?
Excuse me. They have to. I mean, they have to be effective running the football and not turn the ball over, right? So you're looking at, and then we have to be healthy. I mean, I know they got Ambry Thomas back. They might get Mosley back, but Jimmy Ward has been an excellent defender against the Rams. And so, hopefully they get him back from COVID. But, they have the best receiver in football this year in Cooper Kupp. They have one of the best quarterbacks in Stafford. Odell Beckham Jr. is more acclimated to the offense, where last time he was just straight off the plane. So, there's a lot of things that go into that. And, our defense hasn't done a good job at turning the ball over this season. And so you look at Stafford, a player who has thrown, I believe, 7 picks in the last 3 games, has been tossing them up for people to turn over. And our defense hasn't been doing that all season. We have a negative turnover differential. So I think that we need to run the football effectively, which, Mitchell was over 5 yards per carry. We need to continue pushing the ball downfield. We can't shy away from testing Jalen Ramsey. I don't know if he's going to shadow Debo the whole time, but we got to get all of our guys in space and then not turn the ball over. What about you?
So I think it's the same exactly thing that you said. Don't turn we can't turn the ball over. We can't make crucial mistakes. We got Matthew Stafford. We got to stop him as much as possible. Do you think if we make as many stops on Stafford and sack Stafford as much as possible, we're gonna win the game? Because we're gonna make Stafford nervous, and Stafford's gonna be a little bit uncomfortable. So do you think we have a chance of winning the game that way if we sack?
I don't know. I think
Matthew Stafford as much
Stafford's
as
a veteran. I
possible?
don't think he gets nervous. I think Stafford's a veteran. I don't think
Even
he's
if
going to
we
get
sack,
nervous by taking hits. He played on the Lions for his whole career. He took plenty of sacks, so I don't think he's going
oh,
to be nervous there. I think you're looking
but I
at a
thought
player who likes to push the ball downfield. He likes to get the ball in the hands of Cooper Kupp. He has over 135 receptions this season, and so our main aspect is going to be to stop the run game because they're getting Cam Akers back, and Mitchell's been effective, and Cooper Kupp. His averaging almost 100 is over 100 yards a game average. And so, you need to limit his damage and try to get a couple turnovers. But Stafford will give you the opportunity.
so.
He's
My,
going to
my
throw the
question
ball into bad windows.
so my question is that if the 49ers make it to the playoffs, who's a team that you like to see them play in the first round?
Um, I don't know. You're looking at right now we're slotted to play the Rams again, but I don't know. I think probably the Bucks, just because they're the most injured team. I mean, you don't want to go against the GOAT and Tom Brady, but they're the most injured team, and then or the Cowboys, being the fact that they have the easiest defense to run on. They give up a lot of yards. They do cause a lot of turnovers, so maybe that scares me with Lance because of the fact that or Jimmy Garoppolo because they do pick the ball off a lot and they have a potent offense. But there's gonna be no slouches, whether it be the Rams, Cardinals. Cardinals look to be getting J.J. Watt back probably, and Hopkins, and so there's going to be no easy team. But we've played the Rams so well, and our offense matches up good against them. If we beat them this week, it's also hard to beat the same team 3 times in a season. It's very hard to do that. So it's kind of a toss up in that aspect. Who do you think?
A team that I wanted them to play is I think do you think the Cowboys will be a good team for them to play in the first round, or do you think that we're probably there's no way we're gonna play the Cowboys in the first round?
Well, I wouldn't say there's no way we're going to play them. I mean, they have. I mean, maybe there isn't no way because they're the 4 seed. We'd have to move up pretty far to get there. So yeah, I don't think there's a chance that they play them unless there's some different tiebreakers that I'm not aware of. Most likely, it'll probably be the Rams or the Bucks or the Cardinals. So I'm not afraid of the Cowboys. They have a good offense. Their defense is susceptible to yards. Their defense turns the ball over quite effectively. And so, you know, it should be pretty good there. What do you think?
I think the Cowboys will be a pretty good team because they got Ezekiel Elliott, they got Dak Prescott, they got a lot of good players. So I'll love the Cowboys in the 49ers in the playoffs because that would be a rematch of the catch. When Dwight Clark got caught that game winning touchdown from Steve Young.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be a pretty exciting game to see. It'll be like a rematch of the catch. I mean, do you would you? I mean, would that be pretty exciting for you to see that game, reliving that moment, that you know, incredible moment in Niner history?
Well, I mean, I'm a little bit of a younger fan. I never saw that moment live, so to me, I just live in the now and play teams that we're most effective against and enjoy the team that we are. I think that um, I think that the
So
Cowboys offer some advantages because they do have a potent offense, but we have a good defense. We're a top 10 defense, and the thing that scares me is they turn the ball over a lot.
so I have a question here from Amin. He says, "Who do you think gives us the best chance to win? Jimmy at 50% or Lance at 100%?
Lance,
And why do you say Lance?"
because Jimmy at 100% is a mediocre quarterback. Jimmy at 50% is not a very good quarterback. So I would rather go with Lance. What about you?
So I am I say Trey Lance, and then we have another question that says the last time the Niners and the Cowboys played in the playoffs, 55 million plus people watched the game.
Well, it's one of the two of the biggest franchises in football. It'll be big out here. I mean, I live in Texas, and so that game will be on everywhere, and I'll definitely be out getting, people talking crap and stuff like that, and smack talking. So it would be funner or more fun to play the Cowboys just because I live out here. So to go watch that game would be a lot more interesting.
So you're saying that you live up in that area, so that game will be pretty incredible to see if that comes into fruition that we play the Cowboys, the 49ers play the Dallas Cowboys in the first round. That's going to be pretty exciting for you because you live in that area. So if you see that game, that you're going to be pretty excited for that game. There's no doubt that game is going to be on your bucket list.
Well, I'm not going to go to the game. I don't have that kind of money for that. But just being out in the atmosphere on the bars and stuff like that will be fun. The fans show out here in Dallas. I do say that. There's a lot of fans that go out every weekend to go watch those games. And so, me wearing my Bosa jersey out in enemy territory should be pretty fun.
So for you, do you think Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, do you think he's underrated or overrated as a quarterback, and how well does he perform? Does he normally perform well under pressure?
Yeah, I mean, I think Dak Prescott is pretty underrated coming in his most of his career. I think he's finally started to get the clout that he's due. They've given him all the weapons to succeed, and he's healthy this season. So there's really I think this is the first season. There's really no excuse anymore. The first year they go 13-3. He's a rookie, so the playoffs there. He's had some injury stuff, but this is the best offense they've had, in my opinion. Their defense is good enough to turn the ball over. I think they're in turnover differential. They're near the top. So they need to put some W's together. And right now, according to the playoff picture, they'd be playing either the Cardinals or the Rams. If the Rams lose, they play the Rams. If the Rams win against us on week 17, then it'll be the Cardinals they face, which is going to be, they just lost to. So it's going to be a tough matchup either way.
So Amin says that it will be fun, but there will definitely be a lot of Cowboy fans talking crap, especially at a bar.
Yeah, anytime you're a person in enemy territory, you're always going to get a lot of crap talking, and so. But I enjoy that. When
Um,
people get disrespectful, then that's kind of where I draw the line. I just kind of, mind my own business. But I like having conversation with football fans and talking a little smack. So
But when you go to when you play always play game in enemy territory, what are some things to do? Like if a fan comes up and says something to you, how do you keep your composure and not lose your composure and kind of say like, it's a game, it's a game, it's a game of football, we need how do you keep your how do you keep your cool when a fan comes up to you and starts saying crap in your face, and saying that your team is bad and your team's like is super underrated. um how would you keep your composure like in that situation if that ever happened to any fan?
I'm just confident in who I am. People want to talk, people want to make it personal. That's one thing. If they want to trash talk or whatever, and say Jimmy G's a bad quarterback or whatever, and that kind of thing, or the Niners won't win, or that's part of football. That's part of being a fan. But when you get personal and you start cussing at people or calling them names, that's where I draw the line, and I just walk away because it's not worth going to jail or getting in a fist fight over somebody that I'm never going to see again. So for me, I just don't
but
really do that kind of thing.
but would you say that when you watch football, do you sometimes get into confrontational situations in football because your team is better than the other team, and then they start getting like they start speaking like crap in your face because they say like our team beat your team, especially if it's a really crucial game like a Super Bowl or like a playoff game or a very where your life is on the line. If your team loses, like it's gonna impact you in a big way.
Well, yeah, if your team loses, whether you're watching it by yourself or you're watching at a bar, it's a big deal. I don't let it bother me, and I throw jabs back at them too. I just don't make it personal with name calling or anything like that. But Charlotte, we got a
But
chance for one more question because I got my other
um but
arrangement.
I um but I'm just saying, like, do you have anything to say to the faithful out there against the Rams on Sunday? And are there any positive messages you have for the faith for the Niner fans out there?
Yeah, we're a good team. I mean, we're a good team. We can beat any team at any time. You just got to limit the mistakes. We got to run the football. Defense got to continue playing good defense. Hopefully, we can get some turnover luck. You look at the Niners are bottom five, I believe, if I remember correctly, in fumble luck in the league. And so we're not recovering a lot of those. So hopefully, we can recover some fumbles, get some turnovers, and then nothing wrong with getting some help from the Falcons as well.
But I wanted to say it's really great having you on in my show. Anytime you would like to hop on, you're always welcome. Uh, I always like to get so many different guests on my show. Just talk different topics with them. So it's really wonderful to have you on. You're always welcome to come back anytime. I mean, anytime you're free. I mean, you could always. I would love to talk more football with you.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Charles. Thank you for always having me on. You're always a great host, and everything like that. And so I really appreciate you having me on. It's always a blast to talk any sports whatsoever. And then if I ever get my YouTube thing going, you're more than welcome to come on my show as well.
And for me, the good thing about my show is that I have no problem. I all football fans are welcome. Seahawks
Awesome.
fans are welcome. Basically, any football team is welcome on my show. I'm not really biased on any fan who supports any team. Even a Seahawks fan could come on my show. I have no problem with that. I don't have a problem having opposing teams come on my show. Like, that's what makes me so good is that I can have another team come on my show, and I have absolutely no problem with it.
Yeah, you're a good soul there, Shardal. And so, really appreciate you having me on. Thanks to all the people in the chat, Amin, Barry Baller, and Waruna. Thank you guys for coming on and listening. For everybody else out there, like and subscribe to Shardal. He puts out some good content, and thank you for having me on.
I hope you have a great one, Randon.
All right, you
I
too, my
will
man.
see you next
Appreciate
time.
it. Yep.
See, see ya.